So request you to take your headsets in order to dialogue. When you are talking, just take off your headsets. Is it okay now? No, good. Dear colleagues, welcome to the LGMA daily briefing. My name is Yunus Arıkan. I'm the Director of Global Advocacy of ICLEI. I'm also the focal point for local governments and municipal authorities constituency. Today we are having our session hybrid. So we have colleagues joining us in person at the multi-level action pavilion at the hall 4C of the Blue Zone of COP26. And this session is also webcasted, so there may be other colleagues who are joining us online. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us. These are usually 30 minutes or 45 minutes discussion sessions that we are having each other, updating each other on what has happened the day before and what will be the agenda tomorrow. We see new colleagues joining us. This is the second day of the week. Obviously, there may be new participants, so welcome to all. Maybe we can just start by introducing your name because some of the others have been familiar with each other.
Yes, thank you very much. I don't know if I'm audible. I'm Kata Tuttu. I'm member of the European Committee of the Regions, and I'm Deputy Mayor of Budapest, responsible for transport, all climate issues, strategies, green infrastructure, gray infrastructure, waste, water, sewage. So I think I'm at the right place. I'm happy to be here.
And actually, you were already with us. Do I remember correctly? Last week, and the opening panel, you were connected from Budapest virtually to the session, and so this is the beauty of technology, that we can connect wherever we are, and it's so good to see you in person here. Welcome, congratulations. Those who are interested, I think we have invited you at the opening of the multi-level action pavilion on the 1st of November afternoon, 1 p.m. session. So if you are registered into the platform, you can watch this session, and Deputy Mayor, you can also listen her contributions in more details. So welcome once again. We have another participant.
Thank you. I'm Marianne Overton, Vice Chairman of the Local Government Association. And so very pleased to be here. I have found this stall, this pavilion, very helpful. Thank you. With so many interesting presentations. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to send in and to join us for all sorts of things. Thank you.
Please.
Hello everyone, I'm Yann François from City of Paris, Head of Climate Energy Circular Economy Strategies.
Hello, I'm Vincent Chauvet, Mayor of Autun in Burgundy regions in France, and member of the Committee of the Regions as well.
Very good morning. Marieke Schouten, also member of the Committee of the Regions and an alderman in one of the cities of the Netherlands, central parts of the Netherlands.
Thank you all. Just to clarify, actually today at 9:30, we will have a special delegation from Latin America and Brazil. So if you have time, you can also join us. So it's not just you here. Obviously, the morning sessions are a bit hard to access immediately on time. But it's not just Europe, but we have a diversity. What we have noticed that we have around more than 400 local and regional government representatives throughout the 2 weeks. Obviously, there were first week and second week. So it's good to see a new energy coming up, but also continue the legacy from the first week. So we have prepared this presentation for those who are new. Maybe Joe, we can start. We will not go through all of it, but we have mapped for you, especially the background, how we have been starting in this process. So we can go back to this if you have questions and answers on that. So we are in a hybrid situation, and it's a year-round process. I think that is what is important. These events are only successful for us if you engage throughout the year. Therefore, let's not forget this. Obviously, there are things that are adopted or agreed here, but your contribution throughout the year or even the years before is important, because many decisions are also refer back to the previous decisions. Next slide. So on the 31st of October was the World Cities Day. It was a fantastic opportunity for us to elevate the notion of this is in fact for us not opening just 2 weeks of a conference, but we have in fact opened a new era, because since Paris, the new climate plans at the national level are much more engaging with local and regional governments. We have seen this, and we said that it is time for multi-level action. And our 4 basic perspectives is that this should be the new normal, not just for nations, but also for us. If we want to reach our commitments, Race to Zero, Race to Residence, or any other climate commitments, we have to get national and federal or international funding and resources, because the scale is so huge that we cannot do it in our municipal perspective. So multi-level is a two-way relation, both to the top down, but also bottom up. Finance will be, let's give a second. We kindly remind you to wear your face masks over your mouth. Excellent. A kind reminder for those. This is the situation here. We are wearing masks. Those who are watching us remotely, you can imagine the challenges and the sacrifices actually these people are just showing here, rushing from one room to the other with masks. So that's the new world we are living in. Climate finance is important. And we will discuss about, there are some discussion and progress going there. Just climate action, and that's particular also. It is not anymore just mitigation adaptation, but all values of our sustainability, from food, biodiversity to gender and youth and culture. So that's a message for all of us. And final point is in more like a homework for our constituency, that we have to be much more professional and robust in following the process and contributions throughout the year, so that we are more effective. Next slide, Joe. This is a list that we have been using. We have seen there is around 60 countries who have elevated their ambitions since Paris. It may not be fully reflected in the NDCs, but we know things have changed. And many of them, and these countries particularly, have done this because they have engaged with local and regional governments. It's from US to Dominican Republic, from Japan, Korea to Rwanda, we can see this. So the goal is that the Glasgow outcome embraces this as an appropriate language. That's our goal. We will discuss it next couple of minutes. Let's go ahead, Joe. So it's a blue and green zone mobilization. There are so many things going on outside the space as well. So let's not forget. But the main message is that this is our home, as our colleague has mentioned, delegation mentioned. Wherever, because whenever you go to other spaces, you are bounded with their conditions or limitations. Here is a space where we can meet freely, talk freely, and this is a place where we feel that this is our home. So it's important to keep the spaces open. Next slide. This space is also a collaborative effort. Once again, we as ICLEI are the convener of the space in terms of both mapping the agenda, but also physical management of the space. This is hosted by Scottish government. Without their support, it wouldn't be possible. But without the co-hosts and contributing and supporting partners, we wouldn't also not be able to make this space as vibrant as we have seen. This is more than 30 organizations have contributed in the agenda development and financial management of this space as well. So we are grateful for that. This is one of the most expensive COP we have ever seen. So these contributions are valuable. Thank you for all the partners. Let's go. The agenda, as you have seen, that we are using following the negotiations and the presidency themes, but we're also putting additional topics that is not necessarily underlined by them. For example, yesterday we have discussed not just adaptation, loss and damage, but urban poor, informal settlements, jobs, skills. It's not just technology, it is also how you disperse this technology, so skills and jobs, and that will be particularly a discussion at 3 p.m. today with the Scottish Government Just Transition event, so that will be very valuable. Let's continue. For those who are still here, we have a reception on Thursday evening, so if you haven't sent your registration, so please send us so that we can all welcome you, depending on the capacity issue, because we're limited bounded by the COVID measures. So next slide. This is also, we are trying to update. The information is that what we have been doing in the Blue Zone, that we're focusing on. So we have interventions at the opening, at the World Leaders Summit, at the open dialogue. Yesterday, Pippa Helings delivered our statement at the informal stock take. We will touch upon this. And tomorrow, we have nominated Andrew Burnham as the Mayor of Greater Manchester to deliver the high-level segment, second part, which is ministerial mostly. It will be at 3:30 onwards. He will deliver a 2-minute intervention. Obviously, each intervention has unique content and messages. This will be high-level segments, and we have worked with that. And I think while we're here in this space, it would be good to empower the UK partners. So we're very happy to have LGA. We know on the 11th, Mayor of Bristol will also intervene. Mayor of London will intervene. So diversity of all the UK cities and regions is important for us, and we're happy to make it possible. You can see the press conference and other announcements. We have daily bulletins from C40 and this space, so you can track that as well. On the homepage of the COP26, you can reach all these documents to the extent possible. It's not easy to update very frequently. But at final version, you will find the links to all of this. If you go next slide, Joe, this is a scene from our press conference. This was important because before the leaders came, we put this on this table that they could hear us, and also our participants can refer to this in their own statements and in their own messages. So time for multi-level action has to be embraced in Glasgow outcomes. Next slide. These are the scenes. Most of those statements are on the web, so we can watch it online and the UNFCCC web pages. Next slide. This is a scene from yesterday. This is the freshest scene. We were with Pippa. The statement was drafted literally in this room yesterday. She was kind enough to wrap it up in a 2-minute statement. So the clear message is that Paris recognized multi-level action. Glasgow has to deliver multi-level action. And Alok Sharma was on stage. He was listening to us and other statements, obviously. I must confess, it was a bit difficult day for him. In this statement, almost all constituencies, trade unions, youth, gender, they have expressed their disappointment in terms of several procedures that was not fully, let's say, to the extent that should have been. And he was a bit, you can see this from his face, that he was unhappy, but the civil society has suffered a lot, and we have been communicating these critics and recommendations, and unfortunately many of them were ignored. Yes, we know it's a challenge, but it could have been better. The important thing is that now the whole process is now, President has created spatial task forces and led by ministers, and NGOs asked for more active engagement in these discussions. Yesterday, this was possible. There was one informal group at the heads of delegations level This was open for NGOs and all the constituencies. It was immediately announced. It was the real negotiators were in room 8, and then a overflow broadcast was to the room 14, and room 14 was open for us. We have entered into it, into the room, and we listened. And even those who could have stayed longer, they intervened their statements. It was on behalf of constituencies, Climate Action Network, who had done that. And as a result, today, actually, that will be next slide. If Joe, yeah, these, I mean, this link we can share later on as well. 1 week before the COP started, there was another dialogue, and in my intervention as LGMA, I've met all these points reflected. So it was that a continuous feedback was going from our constituencies, but its own dynamic has evolved in a different way. So next slide. Article 6.8 is the discussion we're having. As of today, I haven't seen any new text that is coming up. What we know on the table is that the sectoral descriptions are still broad. It's not too detailed. There is a reference that the non-market approaches should be including local, subnational, national, and regional context, which is good for us. We don't know whether this will stay at the end, until the end. And there is another sentence that says, assisting local entities in their climate act finance. And this discussion yesterday was, what is entity? And several colleagues have shared the descriptions. There is a perception that entity is a much more public institution, which may be referring to us. So it may be still an interpretation, but I think if this statement is there, I think it's still good for us. Let's go next slide. So the essence is that we are now expecting the presidency will release a new, this was the first bullet point, as you have seen. The parties have provided their feedback, whether they're happy or not. Unfortunately, we did not hear any specific party mentioning about an insert for multi-level yet, but it doesn't have to be always in verbal. There may be some inputs in written. So our idea is that in this preamble paragraph, there should be a reference to multi-level, and that was stated by PIPA's message. In the Paris Agreement, we have a specific preamble paragraph, preamble 15, which says, we recognize importance of engagement at all levels of government. So our logic is that if Glasgow is following up from Paris, a new sentence should say that we encourage, we invite multi-level collaboration as an opportunity to raise ambition, if this can be possible. So that then we continue to stay in this process and even strengthen our engagement. So especially those who have access to the UK government or other delegations, we have to push this kind of language to the extent possible. The presidency is important because they have the final responsibility to finalize the text. So the UK government authorities, negotiators are key in this process. Next slide. Yeah, you see these documents now on the web table. There's no new text yet, as far as we know. Next slide. Today, as we said, there are several events going on. The one that is most relevant for the negotiations is that 2 p.m. The UK presidency is inviting all the constituencies to nominate 2 or 3 colleagues to join this discussion about this cover decision. What could be the main elements? So those who are available, it is in the meeting room 9. It is in the hall E, which is those negotiations area. It would be good if you can inform us who would be available so that you can join this. I'm not sure whether I will be able to join personally, but it's not necessarily have to be me, but the importance of our presence is there. And this will be the time to directly interact with the UK presidency. Therefore, I'm particularly looking at you. If you can join from the UK associations, but all the others, so that you once again underline this expectation from our side. Today is basically, there are a number of events going on. I think at the Action Hub, C40 is having an event, but relatively it's a normal, let's say, here in this pavilion, you will have a number of events. And one of the most important events is that there will be an event on just transition. The Scottish Cabinet Secretary on just transition, the European Union representatives on coal regions, and ICLEI US board member, will be speaking at this event, and it is starting at 3 o'clock. So you can join us there. That would be my summary for this update today. Sorry for repetition for some of you, but it's always good to bring all of us on the same page. So the floor is yours. Feel free. Whether you have any updates from your side, your interactions. This is a collective space that we inform each other.
Thank you. We were looking for support for our proposals from other countries. And I have had some connections with Kenya, which I've been talking to. So I'm hoping to meet them again today at 11 o'clock. So it may be possible that we can gain further support from other actual regions of the world as well. Thank you.
Kenya is particularly important because next COP will be Africa COP. Honestly speaking, in a typical normal mode, the next presidency should be much more active in these discussions because they should be preparing themselves. The next presidency is now announced officially that it is Egypt. The dates are even announced, 7th to 18th of November. And the one afterwards is the United Arab Emirates. So if you look at that, it is close to African context. I mean, UAE is not an African as such, but still in this part of the world, that is an opportunity for Europeans also to participate more actively because of the distance. So that this is some update. So even if we do not reach to Egypt yet, any in the African group will be important. We are also in touch with Rwanda and other delegations. So please reach out as much as possible to your delegations or partners.
Master, do you remember me? Sorry? Do you remember me? I'm Mike's friend. I must.
The mic is there. That's the difficulty of hybrid events. You never know what is broadcasted. I should also use the mic, of course. Any comments? There's one, Roberto.
Yeah, hello, Roberto Rinaldi, Policy Officer, Committee of the Regions. I just quickly wanted to tell you that we have one of our members available, as usual, in case needed to do any participation to the meetings of the sections. We are available, so we can stay in contact and represent for the Marrakesh especially. And we are available. Thank you.
So once again, today Marrakesh partnership events are going on, but these are not negotiation events. It is mainly networking and visibility. That's different than a negotiation session. So if you can still secure your delegations at 2 p.m. today at meeting room 9, you just search for LGMA plate. LGMA plate is always visible in this kind of meeting rooms. And you can sit behind that plate, and then you can show your delegation as a group if you want. Let's coordinate so that we don't overload as well, because sometimes it may also be not nice that they are full that much with one constituency. We have a WhatsApp group. I think most of you are here, those who have been following for a couple of days. If you need, we can of course join, engage you. Time to time we are sharing, because these kind of, especially the timings, meeting room spaces can change. There can be new information coming up. So it's always good to be updated. As I said, I mean, if not, we could announce that today we have finished our daily coordination meetings. I'm able to, Pipa, okay. Yeah. Pipa is sending, probably she's watching on the web. I didn't check my notes. She's sending a message that she can also join at 2 p.m., which is good, so that she can continue the discussions, because yesterday the delegation have seen her delivering the statement, but it's good to not to leave her alone so that others are there as well. Yeah, I don't have anything more so far. Okay. Good. Thank you for your participation and wish you the best of success in your interventions today. And if there's anything urgent, yeah, we can have another photo. Yes, it's always good to have. So today's daily briefing photo. Yeah.